Other than the fact when he joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in a GOAT conversation because you're not, plain and simple.
For nearly a decade, Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant have been locked in one of the most uncomfortable debates in modern basketball. Not about talent, but about how greatness should be achieved. It resurfaced again in October 2025, when Durant used Netflix's Starting 5 documentary to finally fire back at Barkley's infamous bus rider label with an emotional defense of sacrifice, pressure, and ego. On paper, this shouldn't even be a conversation. Barkley retired ringless after 16 seasons. Durant has 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs. And yet somehow, in the court of public opinion, Barkley keeps winning. Not because of trophies, but because this argument was never really about rings. It was about legacy, competition, and whether winning means the same thing when you didn't take the hardest road. Charles Barkley introduced his now famous bus driver versus bus rider analogy during an appearance on the Dan Patrick Show in early October 2020. His words were simple, but cutting.
Mount Rushmore. You have to be a bus driver. You can't be a bus rider. Kevin Durant is still a bus rider until he wins one in Brooklyn.
That comment seemed like typical Barkley hot takes at the time, but he was just getting started. The real explosion came after Brooklyn got swept 4-0 by the Boston Celtics in the first round of the 2022 playoffs, which was supposed to be Durant's moment to prove he could win as the man. TNT's Inside the NBA became the stage for Barkley's most memorable attack in late April 2022.
I don't want to badmouth the dude, but I see you guys always talk about that championship stuff. I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around and talk about you're a champion. If you riding the bus, I don't want to hear it. Come on, Shaq, tell them. All these guys walk around with these championship rings. Hey, y'all bus riders. But let me tell you something.
2 in a row, Chuck.
When you the bus driver and you got all that pressure where you have to play well or you're going to get the blame, that's a different animal.
Breaking this down reveals the core of Barkley's argument. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green won 73 games in 2016 and built something special. Then Durant, after choking a 3-1 lead against them in the Western Conference Finals, decided he didn't want to drive his own bus anymore and just wanted to hop on theirs and take credit for the destination. Durant fired back through Instagram by posting photos of Barkley alongside his teammates from when Charles tried to chase rings. Houston's Hakeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen, and Clyde Drexler appeared in the images, along with Philadelphia's Julius Erving and Moses Malone. The caption read simply, "Where would Chuck be without the big homies?" This counterpunch landed solidly because Barkley did join Houston to play alongside multiple Hall of Famers. But here's what Durant missed. Barkley was 33 years old when he did that, clearly at the end of his career, and he still didn't win anything. Durant was 27 in his absolute prime, joining a team that had just beaten him. Twitter became Durant's weapon of choice. Another terrible analogy from a hatin' old head that can't accept that we making more bread than them, he tweeted in June 2022. Later in March 2023, "This ain't getting tiring, Chuck? I'll never respect the words that come out your mouth, fam, just deal with it." Notice the pattern. Durant's not defending his championships or addressing whether he drove the bus or rode it, instead choosing to attack Barkley personally and talk about money and disrespect. The years brought a comprehensive case against Durant that went way beyond just the bus metaphor. Arizona Sports 98.7 FM hosted one of Barkley's most brutal assessments in August 2022 when he dubbed Durant Mr. Miserable.
He just seems like a miserable person, man. I call him Mr. Miserable. He's never going to be happy. Everybody's giving him everything on a silver platter. Mm-hmm. You know, he was a man in Oklahoma City. They loved him. He owned the entire state. And then he bolts on them and goes to the Warriors. He wins back-to-back championships, and he's still not happy. Then he goes to Brooklyn. They give him everything he wants, and he's still miserable.
The brutality of this comes from how accurate it probably is. Durant had everything in Oklahoma City, was up 3-1 on the Warriors, choked, then joined the team that beat him, won 2 rings, and left anyway because none of it made him happy. CBS 60 Minutes gave Barkley another platform in late March 2023.
Kevin Durant.
He's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, man, was that a fair criticism?
Durant spends time on Twitter fighting with high school kids. He's had burner accounts to defend himself. He appears on podcasts constantly explaining why people don't understand him. You never saw that from Michael Jordan or Kobe. The All-Star broadcast on True TV in mid-February 2024 brought another cutting assessment. No disrespect to Kevin. Kevin's a follower. He's not a leader. He's proven that on all his stops. Booker's a hell of a player also. I think he's going to have to take the initiative and take this Suns team to the next level. What happened next? The Suns got swept in the first round of 2024, then missed the playoffs entirely in 2025. The Outkick show in May 2025 delivered the kill shot.
Other than the fact when he joined the Warriors, he hasn't been successful anywhere else. And I don't hold that against him, but he wants to be considered in that list. He's not on that list. He's not on that list. He's a great, great player, but he's not on that list. He wants to be like, wow, he's not in a GOAT conversation, because you're not, plain and simple.
Oklahoma City lost in the finals. Brooklyn got swept in the first round. Phoenix got swept, then missed the playoffs. The only time Durant won was when he joined a 73-win team that didn't need him. Durant never really addressed the core argument until Netflix released Season 2 of Starting 5 in October 2025, giving him a documentary platform to deliver his most extensive response. I done rode the bus. I done filled the gas tank up. I was the gas. I was the wheels, the axle, the brakes, all the different given parts. I was at the back of the bus. I played every role for that team. Durant's claiming he was everything for those Warriors teams, not just riding, but actually being the bus itself. Then he went after Barkley's character. He never knew what it's like to remove your ego so you can go out there and help a city or town win a championship. It was all about him, his whole life, his whole career. His whole life is all about how he feel, how he want to talk, how he can say anything to anybody because I'm Charles Barkley. I can say whatever. This is where Durant's argument collapses. Accusing Barkley of being too selfish to sacrifice for a championship doesn't work when Charles never won a championship. And is joining a 73-win team really sacrificing? By Barkley's definition, removing your ego would mean staying in Oklahoma City and beating the Warriors, not joining them. Kevin Durant's resume stacks up impressively. 2 NBA championships with Golden State in 2017 and 2018, both with Finals MVP awards, where he averaged 35.2 points per game in the first Finals and 28.8 in the second. 1 regular season MVP from 2014 with Oklahoma City. 15 All-Star selections from 2010 to 2025. 4 scoring titles, becoming the youngest scoring champion ever at 21 years old. 11 All-NBA selections. 4 Olympic gold medals, the most ever in men's basketball. Through December 2025, Durant's averaging 27.2 points per game with 7 rebounds and 4.4 assists. 31,000 career points puts him 8th all-time. His 62% true shooting percentage ranks 2nd all-time among players with 20,000-plus points. Charles Barkley's credentials include 1 MVP award in '93, 11 All-Star selections, 11 All-NBA selections with 5 first-team honors, 2 Olympic gold medals from the '92 Dream Team and '96. Hall of Fame induction in 2006. Barkley averaged 22.1 points, 11.7 rebounds, and 3.9 assists, 23,757 career points, all-time leading rebounder among players 6'6" or shorter. But here's the number that matters. Charles Barkley has 0 NBA championships. 1 finals appearance in '93 with Phoenix ended in a loss to Michael Jordan's Bulls. Durant destroys Barkley in almost every statistical category. That's exactly what makes this debate fascinating, because Barkley's not arguing he was better than Durant, but rather that Durant's championships are manufactured. Shaquille O'Neal has consistently backed up Barkley with the credibility of someone who actually drove the bus to championships. On the big podcast, Shaq said, "We were there. We saw OKC up 3-1. One more game, when you're the guy, all the pressure goes on you." Chuck was absolutely right. He was not driving the bus in Golden State. You were on the bus, he was sitting up front. You win, and we don't respect it. Don't get mad at us. That's how we feel. This matters because Shaq has 4 championships, and was the bus driver in Los Angeles for 3 of them. He knows what it means to carry that pressure, and he's saying Durant didn't have it in Golden State. Tyrese Halliburton, representing the current generation in starting 5, called Durant a legend in our game, one of the greatest ever, who deserves statues at both OKC and Golden State. This shows how younger players view Durant versus how the older generation sees him. Barkley's argument gains teeth from Durant's track record outside Golden State. Oklahoma City made the finals with Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in 2012, losing to LeBron's Heat when Durant was 23, which nobody holds against him. The 2016 Western Conference Finals should have been Durant's coronation, up 3-1 on the Warriors, needing one more win to reach the finals, but Durant and Westbrook combined to shoot 9 for 40 in Game 6. They lost that game, then lost Game 7 in the collapse that defines Durant's entire legacy. Golden State signed Durant on July 7, 2016, bringing aboard the player whose team they'd just beaten. Back-to-back championships came in 2017 and 2018 with Durant winning both Finals MVPs, but the Warriors had just won 73 games before he arrived. Brooklyn signed Durant on July 7, 2019, after he tore his Achilles. The Celtics swept Brooklyn 4-0 in the first round around late April 2022, validating everything Barkley had been saying. Phoenix acquired Durant on February 9, 2023. Minnesota swept the Suns in the 2024 playoffs. The entire 2025 season turned into disaster as Phoenix finished 36-46 and missed the playoffs. Durant suffered a season-ending ankle injury in late March. Houston acquired Durant on July 6, 2025, giving him one more shot at 37 years old to prove he can win as the bus driver. One finals appearance in Oklahoma City ended in a loss. 0 playoff success in Brooklyn. 0 playoff success in Phoenix. The only time Kevin Durant won was when he joined the team that beat him. Charles Barkley never won a championship across 16 seasons, which raises how a guy with 0 rings can criticize a guy with 2 rings. The answer cuts to what we value in greatness. Barkley's not claiming he was better than Durant, but arguing that if you want to be in the GOAT conversation, your championships have to come as the guy, earned rather than manufactured through free agency. Barkley was the guy on every team he played for. Philadelphia had him as the franchise. Phoenix saw him win MVP and reach the finals as the leader. Houston brought him in past his prime to help, not lead. He never won, and he doesn't claim to be an all-time champion, but he did it the right way. Durant wants both things. He wants the Golden State championships to count toward his legacy, but also wants to be seen as a guy who did it on his own terms. You can't have both. Either those rings count, and you accept you were Robin to Steph's Batman, or you admit they're manufactured and keep trying to win a real one. Houston is where Durant finds himself as of December 2025, with the team sitting at 15-5, second in the Western Conference. Durant reached 31,000 career points on December 5, 2025, scoring 28 points against Phoenix in a 117-98 victory. Through 19 games, he's averaging 25.3 points on 50.5% shooting. The Rockets represent a young, talented team with championship aspirations. This is Durant's chance at 37 years old to prove Barkley wrong and win as the unquestioned leader. But if he doesn't succeed, if the Rockets flame out or Durant gets hurt or they come up short, then Barkley's case becomes airtight. Durant will retire as a guy who won 2 rings as a sidekick and couldn't get it done anywhere else. This debate forces us to define what greatness means. Is greatness about winning at all costs, even taking the easiest path? Or is greatness about the degree of difficulty, doing it the hard way? Your generation, the guys who grew up watching Jordan and Barkley and the 90s NBA, values the hard way. You respect guys who stayed with their teams and battled through adversity. You respect guys who lost with dignity, more than guys who won by stacking the deck. The younger generation sees it differently. To them, rings are rings, and if you're smart enough to put yourself in the best position to win, that's part of the game. But here's what makes Barkley right. Durant himself doesn't seem satisfied with his legacy. If he really believed those Golden State rings counted, why did he leave? Why Brooklyn? Why Phoenix? Why Houston? Durant's been chasing validation for 9 years because deep down he knows Barkley's right. Did Charles Barkley expose Kevin Durant? Not exactly, because expose implies revealing something hidden. Barkley didn't expose anything, but stated the obvious and refused to let anyone pretend otherwise. Kevin Durant is one of the most talented scorers in NBA history. His 31,000 points, his 4 Olympic golds, his ability to score from anywhere against any defender, all of that's real. But his 2 championships carry asterisks because he joined a 73-win team that had just beaten him. Barkley spent 9 years making one simple argument. If you want to be great, you have to be the bus driver, not the bus rider. Durant spent 9 years responding with everything except addressing that question. He talked about money, Barkley's ego, playing every role, but he never answered. Were you the bus driver in Golden State or just along for the ride? The answer is obvious. Steph Curry was the bus driver. Klay and Draymond built that bus. Durant hopped on and took credit for the destination. Charles Barkley has 0 championships, while Kevin Durant has 2. But Barkley won this argument because Durant's actions since leaving Golden State have proven Chuck right. Brooklyn got swept, Phoenix got swept, then missed the playoffs. Now Houston represents his last chance. The irony is that if Durant had stayed in Oklahoma City and eventually won one there, even if it took 5 more years, his legacy would be better than it is now with 2 Golden State rings. That's what Barkley's been saying all along, and that's why despite having 0 championships himself, Charles Barkley exposed the truth about Kevin Durant's legacy that Durant doesn't want to admit. Sometimes the guy with no rings understands what rings actually mean better than the guy who has them.